Mercedes. The name alone used to stand for peerless luxury, cars that turned heads and made statements everywhere they went. People didn't just drive a Mercedes, they wore it like a badge of honor. For decades, the brand seemed untouchable, riding high on worldwide acclaim and unwavering customer loyalty. But behind the shiny chrome and the star emblem that once epitomized excellence, something has changed. Profits are nosediving, electric ambitions are faltering, and longtime dealerships are sounding the alarm. How did this happen? How could the same company that reigned supreme in nearly every category, from opulent sedans to high-performance SUVs, find itself in a crisis that threatens its very identity? Car enthusiasts, industry insiders, and even the most casual drivers are asking the same question. Is this iconic luxury powerhouse on the brink of collapse, or can it fight its way back from the edge? Some insist the brand simply grew complacent, leaning too heavily on past glory. Others point to skyrocketing prices, poorly timed electric rollouts, and stiff competition from new EV juggernauts. Still more suspect internal power struggles and boardroom tensions that spilled out into the public eye at the worst possible moment. One thing is clear, this meltdown is far from simple. And what happens next might redefine the entire concept of luxury driving. For nearly a century, Mercedes wasn't just another auto manufacturer, it was the definition of automotive prestige. Presidents, celebrities, and business moguls proudly showcased the distinctive three-pointed star on their driveways. The brand's engineering prowess gave the world countless innovations, setting benchmarks for safety, performance, and design. From the timeless elegance of classic S-classes to the thunderous roar of AMG powertrains, Mercedes exemplified an era where craftsmanship and aspiration went hand in hand. But prestige can be a double-edged sword. As consumer taste began shifting, the parameters of luxury itself started to change. Buyers demanded advanced technology, eco-friendly powertrains, and user experiences that felt more like smartphones on wheels rather than mere transportation. Even loyal Mercedes fans who traditionally embraced the refined hum of a smooth V8 found themselves curious about cutting-edge electric vehicles. At first, Mercedes appeared poised to adapt. They announced bold electrification plans, they teased futuristic concept cars. They signaled a new age of innovation. Yet despite their confidence, the reality turned out to be more complicated. Instead of capturing the market's imagination, certain EV releases, like the flagship EQ sedans, didn't create the exhilarating spark that the brand had anticipated. Some fans felt the designs were too conservative. Others balked at the high price tags. Meanwhile, supply chain hitches, global economic jitters, and a sudden surge in competition caused trouble. Suddenly, the halo of invincibility was gone. The same company that once defined excellence found itself scrambling to please a consumer base that was no longer starstruck by a famous badge. The pivot to electric had begun unraveling faster than anyone expected. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Because while Mercedes struggled to move its newest, most expensive models, its dealers were drowning in unsold inventory. If you think the identity crisis is fierce, wait until you see the real-world consequences hitting dealerships next. When Mercedes announced it was going all in on electric vehicles, industry headlines practically exploded. The EQ lineup was heralded as a revelation, a shining beacon of the luxury EV future. Bold promises were made about range, charging speed, and sustainability. Billions of dollars in research and development were funneled into this project. On paper, it seemed like the next logical step for a heritage brand wanting to stay ahead of the environmental and technological curve. But then the cars actually hit the market. Almost overnight, it became clear that even the Mercedes name couldn't magically persuade consumers to pay sky-high premiums for EVs. The sticker prices for models like the EQS soared beyond what most buyers, even luxury buyers, were willing to spend. By the time word spread about real-world range falling short of the most optimistic lab results, curiosity turned into hesitation. Suddenly, dealership lots became graveyards for the brand new EVs. In some regions, the average time on the lot for certain models exceeded 200 or even 300 days. That's practically an eternity in auto retail terms. Upscale or not, cars that linger for months under the showroom lights, or worse, outside in overflow parking, stop feeling desirable. It also didn't help that charging infrastructure in many parts of the world still trails behind the rising wave of EV adoption. Buyers who could handle the high cost of the vehicle itself weren't always prepared to deal with a patchy or inconvenient charging network. The result? A crushing blow to Mercedes' big EV gamble, one that has repercussions not just for the brand, but for the entire automotive market. The glaring question remains, how did such a meticulously planned rollout unravel so quickly? The short answer, they overestimated how fast the luxury crowd would jump on the EV bandwagon, especially when other brands offered more value, better software, or stronger performance. That miscalculation now rests heavily on the shoulders of dealerships, because all that unsold stock doesn't just vanish, it languishes, costing time, money, and brand prestige. Think of your local Mercedes dealership. Polished floors, gleaming vehicles, meticulously dressed sales consultants. For ages, stepping inside felt like entering a realm of sophistication. Yet behind the scenes, many dealers are in trouble. Rows of unsold EVs and high-end models, once expected to fly off the lot, are parked in every nook and cranny. Some dealers have resorted to renting extra space just to accommodate the overflow. The financial tension is immense. Every day a car sits unsold, the dealer must juggle costs like maintenance, insurance, and interest on financing for that vehicle. A small discount here or there might encourage a sale, but slash too much off the price and you risk eroding the premium allure. Mercedes built its brand on exclusivity. Discounting a six-figure EV by tens of thousands of dollars can quickly tarnish that carefully curated image. For dealerships, it's not merely about the short-term hit to their bottom line, it's about their reputation. Buyers grow suspicious when they see that many vehicles in stock, especially if rumors spread about mechanical flaws or poor reliability. Salespeople, trained to exude confidence, find themselves scrambling for talking points. Yes, it's expensive, but it's a Mercedes, no longer seals the deal. What's worse is the strained relationship with headquarters. Many dealers feel blindsided, claiming they weren't consulted about realistic sales forecasts. After all, these retailers are on the front lines. They know local preferences, average budgets, and how saturated the market truly is. Yet production kept ramping up, sending more and more of these expensive EVs their way. The tension is so thick you can practically feel it in any Mercedes dealership's back office. Some are demanding a drastic cut in production to align with actual demand. Others are calling for marketing support or direct rebates from the manufacturer itself. Meanwhile, the competition smells blood in the water, moving in to capture disillusioned buyers. Crisis for one brand often spells opportunity for another. And while Mercedes wrestles with this predicament, rivals are on the rise. Tesla, once an upstart, is now the unignorable giant of the electric age. Its Model 3 and Model Y have become mainstream choices. Tech-forward consumers appreciate Tesla's robust charging infrastructure, constant software updates, and relative affordability. Yet Tesla isn't the only player making moves. Lucid Motors is carving a niche in high-performance, ultra-luxury EV sedans that aim directly at Mercedes' throne. Rivian is capturing the imagination of those who want electric off-road capabilities. Traditional heavyweights like BMW and Audi are playing a balanced game, offering both refined combustion engine cars and a growing lineup of electrics that appeal to a broader price range. Then there's the colossal influence of Chinese automakers like BYD and NIO, especially in the world's largest EV market. Some of their electric models cost significantly less than a Mercedes, yet boast features tailored to local tastes, like advanced infotainment or technology that integrates seamlessly with the region's digital ecosystem. If Mercedes wants to remain competitive in that massive market, it has to step up its game fast. This competition isn't merely about sales figures, it's about seizing the future narrative of luxury and innovation. If buyers no longer believe Mercedes stands for the best driving experience money can buy, brand loyalty can fade in a matter of months. Prestigious heritage doesn't mean much to a generation that judges cars based on range, connectivity, software reliability, and, of course, price. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. While Mercedes wrangles with its dealers and unsold EV stock, other brands are stealing mindshare. Every new Tesla or BMW that rolls onto the street is a testament to a competitor's success at catering to modern tastes. If Mercedes can't adapt, it may wake up one day to discover it's no longer the default choice for buyers seeking something exceptional. So, what does all of this mean for everyday drivers looking to purchase a car? In many places, prices are creeping ever upward. New vehicles, used vehicles, hybrids, electric models, you name it. The average cost of a new car in the United States now sits well above $45,000, and that figure can soar much higher if we're talking about premium EVs. Part of the blame falls on disruptions across the entire industry, from supply chain hiccups to raw material shortages. But Mercedes' predicament is also contributing to broader market distortions. When a major luxury player invests billions in EVs that fail to sell, it puts pressure on manufacturing costs. Automakers typically spread out those costs across their entire lineup. Consequently, you might see higher prices even on models that aren't electric or aren't part of the flagship category. In turn, used car prices keep climbing because more buyers are priced out of the new market. The result is a vicious cycle. New car prices go up, prompting even more people to hunt for a decent used model, causing secondhand prices to spike as well. If you're looking to buy a car right now, you're likely feeling the squeeze, regardless of whether you ever set foot in a Mercedes dealership. On the flip side, some might wonder if these struggles will lead to fire sale discounts on certain underperforming electric models. In rare cases, you might find surprising bargains, like a heavily discounted luxury EV that nobody wanted at the original sticker price. But that's hardly a scalable or sustainable solution. Long term, the brand's image risks taking a major hit if they become known for massive markdowns. The real question is, how long can this tug of war between high-end ambition and consumer reality continue before something breaks? And as more shoppers consider going electric, will they put their trust in a brand still figuring out its identity, or opt for established EV leaders who have already proven themselves? Luxury used to be straightforward. A posh interior, a roaring engine, a sophisticated exterior design, and a high price tag usually sufficed. Mercedes excelled under those rules. However, the definition of luxury is changing, driven by shifting consumer preferences that favor technology, ecological responsibility, and a new sense of practical prestige. Suddenly, a brand that thrived for decades on offering stately sedans powered by silky smooth engines must contend with younger drivers who are more impressed by battery range, over-the-air software updates, and integrated digital experiences. The question becomes, what truly sets Mercedes apart in a world where multiple automakers can deliver plush seats, big screens, and near-silent electric powertrains? If the brand commits itself fully to electric vehicles, it risks alienating traditionalists who value the comforting growl of a well-tuned V8 or the craftsmanship that has long distinguished Mercedes cabins. But if it clings too strongly to heritage, it could be viewed as stubbornly resisting progress, losing modern buyers who expect the latest in EV tech and autonomous driving features. Beyond the vehicles themselves, Mercedes must also reinvent the intangible aspects of its identity. Elite car ownership was once about the emblem on the hood. Today, it's equally about convenience, software integration, and even the sustainability story behind how the car is made. Where does Mercedes fit in that conversation? Brand specialists say Mercedes needs a cohesive vision, one that harmonizes luxury, performance, innovation, and global responsibility. Yet implementing that vision requires deep cultural shifts inside the company. Engineers, marketers, and executives have to align on goals that aren't always easy to reconcile, especially when profits are under intense pressure. And let's not forget, brand loyalty may remain strong among older generations, but younger buyers have no problem jumping ship. In the era of phone upgrades and subscription models, brand names mean less unless they continually prove their relevance. If Mercedes can't articulate a compelling reason for people to stay, no glitzy showroom or regal legacy will save it. Is Mercedes doomed? Not necessarily. A brand with such deep roots in automotive history has the resources to adapt, if it makes the right moves quickly enough. A key part of any potential comeback is acknowledging the overestimation of demand for high-priced electric vehicles. When it comes to EVs, success hinges on bridging the gap between what the market can reasonably afford and the cutting-edge features that justify a higher price. One possible path is to scale down the offerings in the EQ lineup, fewer variants, more competitive pricing, and a design language that excites buyers rather than merely pleasing focus groups. A meticulously designed mid-size EV with robust range and well-executed software could reel in a wider audience. If Tesla can produce a range of EVs that feel futuristic yet relatively attainable, so can Mercedes, assuming it's willing to reconsider profit margins in favor of long-term brand positioning. Simultaneously, Mercedes must mend fences with its dealerships. These frontline businesses need more flexible targets, better incentives for shifting electric models, and localized marketing strategies that resonate with actual consumer behavior. Training programs that empower dealership staff to address EV-related concerns, like charging, software updates, and daily usability, could help convert skeptical shoppers. Collaboration might also be a game changer. Whether through partnerships with battery suppliers or joint ventures with tech companies, Mercedes could lighten the burden of EV research and manufacturing. Innovation thrives when experts from different sectors join forces, be it for better battery chemistries, more streamlined software platforms, or innovative approaches to production that reduce costs. Another area begging for attention is brand storytelling. People buy into Mercedes, at least in part, because of the mythic aura around it. That story needs a serious update, emphasizing forward-thinking technology, eco-conscious materials, and connected driving experiences that seamlessly blend luxury with next-gen convenience. It's no longer enough to simply say, "We're Mercedes, trust us." They must prove it, especially to a younger demographic with endless choices at their fingertips. Will these steps guarantee success? Perhaps not, but without making them, Mercedes could face a fate worse than a short-term dip in profits. Irrelevance in a market that no longer sees the three-pointed star as the ultimate mark of distinction. Mercedes-Benz stands at one of the most pivotal junctures in its storied history. Its troubles are symptomatic of a broader upheaval in the automotive world, one where technology, environmental awareness, and shifting definitions of prestige collide head-on. We've seen how the ill-timed bet on high-end EVs rattled the brand's financial foundation and strained relationships with dealers. We've watched competitors swoop in to capture the imagination of buyers who might once have defaulted to the famous German badge. And we've explored how the very idea of luxury is undergoing an evolution that demands flexibility and bold innovation. Where does that leave you? The consumer? On the front lines of a car market in flux, will you continue paying top dollar for a prestigious emblem if the underlying tech or design feels outdated? Or will you gravitate toward a competitor offering a fresh mix of features at a more reasonable price? Mercedes' fate may hinge on how well they cater to these ever-evolving demands. Still, it's not too late for the brand to redeem itself. Every crisis can become an opportunity for reinvention. If Mercedes recalibrates its electric vehicle strategy, reconnects with dealerships, and reinvigorates its storytelling, it could emerge with a product lineup that's truly groundbreaking. And in doing so, it might just redefine luxury for the 21st century, proving that the star can shine brightly once again in a brand new sky. But here's the ultimate takeaway. Your voice matters. The vehicles you choose, the features you prioritize, and the technologies you support will shape the next generation of automobiles. If Mercedes listens, innovates, and adapts in time, this crisis could be the catalyst for an extraordinary comeback rather than the beginning of the end. What do you think? Are you rooting for Mercedes to overcome these challenges, or do you believe a changing industry spells permanent trouble for this legendary brand? Share your thoughts, keep the conversation going, and stay tuned for more reveals as we track the continuing evolution of luxury automobiles and the future of driving as we know it.